I think there's a few challenging parts of running a business solo that nobody really talks about. So I've been running as a solo freelance videographer for probably over a year now, and between that time, I have realized that there's a lot of different challenges that I didn't really anticipate or really think about before I started. And I think one of it is the kind of constant balance between trying to maintain your creativity but also growing the business at the same time. And I feel like it's always this feeling of like a duality sometimes. Like, yeah, you feel like the creative side just wants to be wild, creative, just do whatever they want without worrying about a client or budget or anything like that, or even due dates. And the business side of things wants you to be more logical, pragmatic, more efficient, and kind of streamline things rather than spending too much time on developing idea, concept, and things like that. And I think that's kind of what I struggled with initially. But I find that eventually I kind of realize that it's a balance between the two. It's not, they can be a mutual relationship, they don't have to be opposing forces. And I think once that kind of mindset shift happened, it became a bit easier to both be creative and also to have a sustainable business. Because I think at the end of the day, one sustains the other. So without creativity, the business is kind of soulless. Like you're just running it for the money at that point. Whereas, if you have creativity, then it's always going to be fresh. It's always going to be kind of exciting and you're actually invested in it. And kind of vice versa. If it's only creativity and there's no kind of any business structure or any form of consistency and income, then there's only so long of a period that you can sustain that creativity without also kind of burning out. Because at the end of the day, the reality is we need to survive. We need money to sustain a comfortable lifestyle. And I think the starving artist kind of idea is not great. We don't want to be a starving artist because in order to create good art, I think your mental state has to be stable as well. You have to not be in this constant state of stress. And that's why I think, creativity and business, it might be hard to balance at the start, and I'm still figuring it out, but I think it's important to see them as equals and not opposing. And I think the other thing I kind of struggled with quite a lot is just kind of feeling lonely like in this journey because when you're starting a business alone, you're not really doing like the conventional path. And so a lot of people around you, unless they are business owners themselves, they don't really understand what you're going through. And you can't blame them for it because you guys are just different, living different lifestyles. And so when your initial circle isn't surrounded by people that is kind of in the same space, then it is hard to feel like you would connect with them in that level. And I think honestly the only way to really get around it is to try to find a community, try to find a network of people, and also help each other out. Because a lot of this working alone and building your own business is going to be lonely, and there's times where you feel overwhelmed and you can't handle things. And that's when, if you build a solid network of people and a community, then you can always reach out to people and kind of ask for help and also offer help in return. And yeah, I think it's kind of the realization of you don't actually have to do this alone. You might feel like you have to do this alone, but it's actually okay to ask for help, I think. I think sometimes personally I need the reminder that it's okay to look for help. It's okay to hand things off once in a while, or yeah, and even help people out as well, because you learn from each other, and there's always going to be people that need the work as well, and sometimes you need the work, and so it's always a good thing to kind of connect with other people in your industry or adjacent to it, and just help each other out really, and make it a bit easier for everyone. And I think the other thing I also realized about this whole running a solo business is that you have to wear a lot of hats. Like you have to be everything. You have to be admin, you have to be salesperson, you have to be the creative director, you have to be the videographer, you have to be the editor, you have to be the accountant, you have to be everything all at once. And that is a lot of mental load. And I think that is kind of the biggest point where I think burnout could happen, at least personally, because like you not I don't think any of us really started this to do all these things. Like we started it because we love most likely the filming part or the creative part. But the reality is when you're running a business alone, you have to do all the other parts of the business that's not as glamorous and not really exciting to you. And I don't think there's really a way around it until you get to a point where you can delegate some of those work. And even then, it is about managing kind of the people that's doing maybe admin or accounting, all that kind of stuff. So I think at the end of the day, if you really want to kind of focus on so-called the pure side of why you started a business for, then you have to eventually seek for help and hand off things to people. And I guess the scale to which you want to grow the business is also another question. Because if you want to grow into an agency, then obviously your goal is to kind of scale as fast as possible, and then hire as many people as you need while it's scaling. But I think for a lot of like the creatives, we kind of want to maintain the role of the creative. And so like to me personally, I feel like agency model just kind of sometimes evolves into this big management role instead, because yeah, once you have a big team of people, then you can't avoid the fact that you have to manage people. And so yeah, I think that's just something that I've been thinking about as well, and I guess which direction I want to take my business to. But I think the biggest thing out of this whole kind of challenge of running a solo business is the fact that I think you have to also really trust yourself in order for this whole thing to work. Because at the end of the day, you are the only person that is holding this business together essentially. And if you don't trust your own direction, if you don't trust yourself as basically the director of this business, and you don't trust your intuition, you don't kind of, yeah, trust that you can make it, and then I think you will struggle to stay disciplined without anyone holding you accountable. And I think there's a lot of comparison that can happen with other people that might have achieved success way earlier than you, but you don't know their story either. And so I think the moral of what I've learned from the year of running a solo business is that it is really hard. Like there's no way to sugarcoat it. It is really hard to run a business solo. But I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to find a community and a network of people and help each other out. Because if you're feeling this way, I guarantee you another 10,000 people that is running a solo business will feel the same way. And so If you can find those people and help each other out, then it will just make everyone's life easier and better and uplift each other. And also, I think it's also an important thing to shift the mindset between creativity and business as two opposing forces. When in reality, in order for the business to work, you have to balance these two. And yeah, they both sustain each other. It's a mutual relationship. And I think that's a really important thing to kind of drill in your head. And yeah, the last thing is to trust yourself and really believe in your vision and really believe in your ability to make this work. Because if you don't have that, the rest of anything, nothing can really work out without you believing in yourself in the first place, because you are the person that's running this. You are the one making the call. And so you have to be confident in whatever decision that you make. And this is day 14 of me talking to the camera. Bye.